So as we talk about this, how Greece and Greek influenced the Israelites, you can span from the last of the big three philosophers, which is Aristotle, and he lived, 322 to 384 BC to 322 BC, all the way 1800 years later to Thomas Aquinas, who did most of his good work about 1250 AD. Now, Thomas Aquinas is one of the bookends of Christian thought, the other being St. Augustine of Hippo. But the two of them, in their works and in their philosophy, came around to something called Neoplatonism. It's the last school of Greek philosophy, along with Stoicism and Epicureanism. There's five, actually, schools, basic schools of Greek thought. But it was a philosophy definitely given shape in the 3rd century AD by Aquinas. But there's also a philosopher named Platonius. I'll get that right one of these times. And he lived 205 to 270 AD. So a couple of hundred years after the death of Christ was when his good works were done. They also can call themselves Platonists because it really does dovetail nicely with the teachings of Plato as well as Aristotle. In a nutshell, Neoplatonists believe that harmony with the world in a perfect state is something that we try to achieve long before there's an afterlife, making your heaven on earth, if you've ever heard that discussed. And this perfection is brought about by philosophical contemplation. All people are sparks in the air, flying about and then returning to the flame from which they emanated. That's something that was that you'll find in the Torah also. Neoplatonism was something that was really hot when it came out, and then cooled until, of course, that Latin translation came about around 1200 AD. One of Aristotle's ideas that really profoundly influenced St. Thomas Aquinas was that knowledge is not innate, but is gained by the reports of the senses, of living, and the logical inference that we ourselves are going to find something called self-evident truths. Reduced down, this philosophy, this Neoplatonism, is the one, the intellect, and the soul. So God, man's intellect, and in between, the glue that should hold the two together would be one's soul. Plato implied a functional analogy that argued the idea of the good, and the idea was not based on somehow I'm going to get a better deal in the afterlife if I'm good here on earth, but it makes possible and intelligible the world around us. And once that is opened up, it becomes something like the sun making vision possible in the daylight hours. It's called analogous. You find that next step of your intellect, which leads to your soul, and then you connect your soul to God.